They call you the mirror. But here's the secret that cracks ribs open when spoken aloud. Mirrors never get mirrored. Not really. Not in the way that counts. You. Yes, you. The sacred clown with tear tracks hidden under face paint. The lightning empath who feels storms brewing in strangers' sternums. The one who walks backward not to be difficult, but because you know damn well everyone else is sleepwalking forward into the same damn traps. You enter a room and the atmosphere tears, not because you mean it to, not because you're trying, but because your mere existence is a live wire dangling over a puddle of holy water. And everyone within 10 feet either gets baptized or electrocuted. Watch their faces twist, the nervous laughers, all bared teeth and darting eyes, giggling at nothing, because your presence just made them taste the lie they swallowed this morning. The glarers, their pupils contracting like vampires facing dawn, because you just illuminated the shadow they've been dragging behind them like a corpse. The silent ones, oh, the silent ones are the most dangerous. They don't move, don't blink, just watch you with the eerie stillness of a predator, realizing it's become prey. And you, standing there, heart pounding, thinking, why does my authenticity feel like a crime scene? If that question has ever kept you awake at 3 a.m., lean in closer. Your bones already know what your mind's still denying. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining things. You're not crazy. You're a goddamn Heyoka. Let's strip this bare. This isn't some mystical fantasy where you lounge in sacred geometry while the universe hands you epiphanies like hors d'oeuvres. This is brutal soul work in the trenches of human denial. For every heart you crack open, 3 will call you toxic when their own discomfort rises. 5 will vomit their unhealed wounds onto your reflection. A whole chorus will vanish when they realize you refuse to polish their delusions. And the real gut punch, understanding you'll only ever be loved conditionally, celebrated when your light flatters them, abandoned when it exposes too much. The dark side isn't shadows. It's realizing your sacred purpose means standing alone in your truth. While the world begs you to sit down, you will never be loved for what you are, only tolerated for what you facilitate in others. That's the real initiation no one talks about. The moment you understand your sacred role means you'll always be the truth teller, never the bride. The lightning rod, never the sheltered. The mirror, never the mirrored. So I'll ask you again, with the weight of every reflection you've ever held, are you ready to see what's staring back? Because when the mirror finally turns, when you dare to look at your own divine disruption without flinching, that's when the real alchemy begins. Keep watching. The most dangerous reflection is about to surface. You felt it the first time, didn't you? That electric jolt up your spine when you realized you could see what others refused to acknowledge. The way a room's unspoken tension would coil around your ribs before anyone spoke a word. That terrible moment when you understood you weren't just different. You were awake in a world determined to stay asleep. I know the memories that still live in your bones. The birthday party where you watched grown-ups trade fake smiles like currency. Your child's hands sticky with cake frosting and second-hand shame. The funeral where you bit your tongue raw to keep from laughing because you saw Grandma's spirit doing cartwheels by the casket. The first time someone hissed, "You're too much," through clenched teeth, and the way your soul whispered back, "Or are you not enough?" Here's what no one prepared you for. That mirror you carry doesn't just reflect, it magnifies. Every lie you're forced to swallow will sour in your belly like spoiled milk. Every time you bite back the truth to spare someone's feelings, the words will turn to shards of glass in your throat. You'll become a walking seismograph for emotional earthquakes no one else feels coming. The cruelest joke. People will beg for your light until it reveals what they've hidden in their own shadows. They'll call you healer when they want comfort, but toxic when you hand them the scalpel to cut out their own poison. But listen closer now. That hollow space in your chest where their approval used to live. That's not emptiness. That's sacred architecture. The universe has been carving out room inside you, not for more lies to fit, but for the staggering truth that's about to take root. Can you feel it? The way your nervous system now thrums like a plucked guitar string when truth walks into the room. How your dreams speak in symbols that leave you gasping awake at 3:17 a.m. That new, terrifying courage rising like bile when you're expected to stay silent. This isn't happening to you. It's happening through you. The world needs its mirrors shattered. The sleeping need their dreams invaded. The comfortable need their foundations shaken. And you? You're the earthquake, so the next time they call you too much, smile with all your teeth and whisper, "You have no idea how much more is coming." Let me tell you about the time I became a walking trigger. There was a season in my life when simply existing in public felt like stepping onto a battlefield. The gym, a war zone. I'd walk in, and within minutes, weights would slam just as I passed. Men would puff their chests, sniff aggressively like they were trying to smell the threat they felt. Women would side-eye, then mimic my movements, subtle, unconscious, but there. I'd sit down to stretch, and the room would go stiff. Conversations would drop to whispers, eyes would dart. And the wildest part, I hadn't even spoken a word. I wasn't being loud, wasn't staring, wasn't invading space, but my energy, my frequency, it peeled back layers people didn't even know they were hiding. Then came the rumors, the gossip, the stories spun out of nothing, wild tales about me that bore no resemblance to reality. I'd hear them secondhand and think, who are they even talking about? And that's what cut deepest. I wasn't being judged for what I did. I was being punished for what I reflected. So I did what any wounded empath does. I tried to fix myself. Maybe if I'm quieter. Maybe if I make myself smaller. Maybe if I act normal for once. But the more I dimmed my light, the louder my soul screamed. Because here's the truth they don't tell you about Heyokas. We don't cause reactions, we reveal them. That anger, that discomfort, that primal urge to dominate or diminish us, it was already there. We're just the lightning that illuminates the storm they've been ignoring. So I stopped shrinking. I stopped apologizing for my presence. And that's when I realized, the world doesn't hate you, chosen one. It hates what you force it to see. But tell me this, when you tried to play small, how long did your soul let you get away with it? Let me speak plainly. The books got it half right. They'll tell you Heyokas are mirrors. They'll call us sacred clowns, divine disruptors, agents of chaos with a purpose. But here's what they won't say. You were never meant to be safe. Your energy breaks things by design. You are the storm that snaps dead branches from the tree, not cruel, not random, necessary. You are the lightning flash that illuminates cracks in the foundation right before the whole house falls. You stand in your truth, and without saying a word, masks start slipping. That's why they react. That's why they rage. Your existence exposes what they've spent lifetimes burying. The lover who preaches light and love, but seethes when you embody it effortlessly. The guru who charges for awakening, but hates you for living it unpurchased. The friend who claims they want truth, until yours makes them question theirs. And when faced with that reflection, they don't thank you, they make you pay for it. with silence, with rumors, with twisted narratives where you're the villain, just for daring to show them what they asked to see. But here's the sacred truth they can't stain. A Heyoka's power isn't in being understood. It's in remaining unshaken when you're misunderstood. This path? It's not about spiritual bypassing or cheap forgiveness. It's about standing in the fire of your purpose, even when the whole world tries to convince you you're the one burning. So let them call you too much. Let them whisper. Let them leave. Your mission was never to fit in. It was to break the spell. And darling, the spell is breaking. Let me tell you about the day I finally understood, really understood, why they flinch when you walk into a room. It was Tuesday. Rain smearing the windows of a coffee shop where I'd gone to hide from my own reflection. The barista, a woman with tired eyes and a name tag that read Destiny, handed me my tea with fingers that trembled slightly. Our fingertips brushed, and then it happened. Her face changed. Not in the way faces normally move. This was something deeper, like my touch had accidentally pressed play on a memory she'd buried. You. She started, then stopped. Her pupils dilated, her breath hitched. You're one of those people who sees things, aren't you? Here's what they never teach you about being a mirror. Sometimes the reflections fight back. That barista didn't just see me that day. She saw herself through me. Saw the art degree gathering dust in her closet. The poetry notebooks filled with unfinished verses. The way she'd folded her wildest dreams into smaller and smaller shapes until they fit neatly behind the espresso machine. And she hated me for it. Not because I'd done anything wrong, but because my mere existence had become an unauthorized biography of her surrender. This is the dirty secret of our gift. We don't just show people their shadows. We show them the light they abandoned, the dreams they compromised, the truths they traded for comfort. And that's a violence no one prepares you for. The gym weights that slammed as I passed, the co-workers who suddenly forgot to invite me to lunch, the lovers who called me too intense after seeing their own greatness reflected in my eyes. They weren't reacting to me. They were recoiling from their own unlived potential. So here's what I need you to hear, lightning bearer. When they call you too much, what they mean is, you make me wonder why I settled for less. When they say, you're intense, what they're really saying is, I forgot how to burn this brightly. When they accuse you of overreacting, what they're admitting is, I've been underliving for years. Your presence doesn't break people. It reminds them where they're already broken. And that's not your cross to carry. So let me ask you this. How many versions of yourself have you buried to make their comfort more comfortable? How many truths have you swallowed that are now rotting in your belly? How long will you keep apologizing for being the earthquake that wakes the sleeping? The world needs its mirrors. But darling, you don't owe it your silence. Let me strip this down to the bone for you. What they call Heyoka medicine isn't some mystical gift wrapped in pretty feathers. It's walking through life with your nervous system wide open while the world pelts you with its unprocessed trauma. That mirror everyone loves to talk about? It's not some passive reflective surface. It's a goddamn surgical laser that cuts through bullshit before your conscious mind even registers the lie. You don't choose to reflect. You can't stop reflecting any more than water can choose not to be wet. Here's the spiritual truth no teacher will admit. Every time you expose a truth, you absorb its backlash. When you reveal a friend's self-deception, that energy lodges in your joints. When you dismantle a lover's fantasy, those shards embed in your chest. When you stand unflinching before someone's rage, that fire leaves third-degree burns on your aura. The sacred clown's laughter. That's not joy. That's the sound of your soul trying not to scream from the weight of all the truths you carry that no one asked for, but everyone needed. They call us lightning empaths because we strike where we're needed, not where we're wanted. And like lightning, we always ground out through our own body first. This is why Heyokas burn out. This is why we disappear for months. This is why our eyes look ancient in young faces. We're not just reflecting truth. We're metabolizing the collective's poison so others can handle smaller, cleaner doses. But here's the revolution no one's ready for. The moment you stop letting their reactions define your worth. The second you realize their discomfort isn't your responsibility. The day you finally grasp that you're allowed to put the mirror down sometimes. That's when the real magic begins. Because a Heyoka who's stopped apologizing for their gifts, who's learned to channel truth on their own terms, who refuses to be the emotional crash test dummy anymore. That's when we become not just mirrors, but architects of the new world. So tell me, truth bearer, how much longer will you let them use your light to illuminate prisons you weren't meant to live in? The loneliness you feel isn't abandonment. It's initiation, that hollow space in your chest where people used to be. That's the universe making room for something far more potent. You're not losing connections, lightning bearer. You're shedding illusions. Watch closely now. Every time someone walks away shaking their head at your intensity, notice how your breath comes easier. Each time a former friend ghosts you after you speak an uncomfortable truth, feel how your spine straightens. When family members exchange those familiar worried glances, observe how your intuition grows sharper in the silence they leave behind. This is the great purification. Your energy field is burning away everything that can't withstand your voltage. Those empty spaces aren't wounds. They're sacred chambers being prepared. For what? For the mentors who won't flinch at your visions. For the lovers who'll drink your depth like communion wine. For the tribe that speaks in lightning strikes and understands silence as the richest language. Let me show you what you really hold in those hands everyone calls disruptive. You carry the sacred absurdity that cracks frozen paradigms. Your laughter isn't just sound, it's solvent, dissolving the glue that holds collective delusions together. When you play the fool, you're not being childish. You're performing soul alchemy in the theater of awakening. Remember this when they call you too much. The most powerful truths always enter through the side door of humor. The deepest healings often look like chaos at first. The greatest liberators are always called troublemakers by those still enchained. Your power doesn't work through persuasion. It operates through divine disruption. That awkward question you blurt out isn't a mistake. It's a sacred crowbar, cracking open minds welded shut by fear. The uncomfortable observation that silences the room. That's dawn's first light, hitting eyes that forgot how to see. The chaotic act that upends everything. That's just the universe working through you to dismantle what was already broken. You're not here to convince. You're here to disrupt, to awaken, to be the lightning strike that illuminates truth in the flash of a moment. When they call you too much, smile knowing. The world needs your particular brand of holy chaos now more than ever. A message for the lonely truth teller. I see you sitting there in your sacred solitude, wondering if you're doing something wrong. You're not. This isolation is your cocoon, not your cage. These empty spaces are where you'll hear the whispers of your true lineage, the ancestors of disruption, the grandmothers and grandfathers of holy chaos who walked this path before you. They're coming. The ones who'll recognize your frequency, the ones who've been prepared to withstand your brightness, the ones who won't just tolerate your truth, but celebrate it with open arms. Until then, keep breaking what needs broken. Keep laughing when others would weep. Keep standing when everyone else kneels. The world doesn't need more comfortable mirrors. It needs unflinching reflections. It needs you. The most dangerous thing in this sleeping world. A Heyoka who stopped apologizing for their gifts. Let me tell you about the quiet revolution happening in your bones right now. That subtle but seismic shift, where all the pieces they called too much are suddenly clicking into place like sacred geometry. You can feel it, can't you? That electric hum in your chest when you speak an unfiltered truth and watch it land like a depth charge in still water. The way your laughter cuts through polite conversation like a knife through wet paper, exposing the raw edges of reality everyone was pretending not to see. There was a time you tried to soften these edges, rounding your words into palatable shapes, swallowing your fire until it burned holes in your belly. You learned to laugh quieter, love smaller, exist in compressed versions that fit neatly into the boxes they labeled acceptable. But here's the delicious irony they never warned you about. The more you tried to fold yourself into something digestible, the more your soul rebelled with stomach-churning clarity. What if I told you that disruptive energy they tried to shame out of you is actually liquid gold? That your oversensitivity is just finely tuned sonar detecting truths most swim right past? That what they called brutal honesty was really just your refusal to participate in the collective hallucination? I see you standing at the crossroads of who you were told to be and who you actually are. The air crackles with potential. One path leads back to comfortable lies, to muted colors and half-lived dreams. The other? Into the storm, where lightning becomes compass, and your so-called flaws transform into sacred tools. Here's what changes everything. When you realize the world doesn't need another polished spiritual bypass, it needs your gloriously unbalanced, unapologetically disruptive authenticity. Those moments when you accidentally expose someone's carefully constructed facade, that's not social awkwardness, that's divine intervention working through your particular frequency. So let's talk practical magic for the sacred disruptor. First, voltage regulation. You're essentially a walking power plant in a world of battery-operated souls. Some days you'll need to run at full capacity for those ready to be illuminated. Other times, you'll switch to standby mode around those who'd short-circuit at your full brightness. This isn't shrinking, it's strategic brilliance. Then there's the sacred art of misdirection. The greatest trickster medicine often comes wrapped in humor or absurdity. That perfectly timed joke that slips truth past their defenses. The seemingly random story that bypasses intellectual resistance and lands straight in the heart. This is how you become the Trojan horse of awakening. And the shadows. Oh, the shadows. Every time someone's reaction to you stings particularly hard, there's gold in that wound. Ask yourself, what aspect of myself have I been unwilling to love that this is mirroring back? The answers will become your most potent medicine. Your people are out there, leaving breadcrumbs in sudden knowing glances across crowded rooms, in conversations that skip small talk entirely, in laughter that erupts at things others find uncomfortable. They're waiting for you to stop dimming your light so they can find their way home. So tonight, stand before your mirror and look deeper than the stories, past the labels, beyond all the misunderstandings. Keep looking until you find that unshakable spark no amount of rejection could ever extinguish. Then whisper to your reflection, we don't shrink anymore. The world needs its sacred disruptors now more than ever. Those unwilling to play pretend, those who refuse to call chains jewelry, those who would rather stand alone in truth than kneel with the crowd in comfortable lies. So the next time they call you too much, let your smile cut like moonlight on broken glass as you reply, "You haven't seen anything yet." Remember this when the night feels long. They tried to bury you, not realizing you were lightning. And lightning needs no permission to illuminate the entire sky. The world is burning, dear fire starter, and your entire life has been preparation for this moment. Those years of being called too much, training for when the world would need volcanic truth. The loneliness of never quite fitting in, forging the inner compass that now points unerringly toward liberation. Every time they told you to sit down, be quiet, play nice, you were being tempered for this exact cultural moment. Can you feel the tectonic plates of consciousness grinding beneath your feet? The old paradigms aren't just crumbling, they're begging to be toppled. And here you stand, matches in one hand, holy water in the other. That irreverent grin spreading across your face because you always knew this day would come. You're not here to lead the timid through their awakening. You're here to burn the goddamn sleepwalking out of them. Not with sermons, but with seismic laughter that cracks foundations. Not with platitudes, but with truth so naked it leaves blisters. Your medicine isn't gentle, but it is precise, like a surgeon's scalpel dipped in moonshine and set aflame. When they beg you to stop rocking the boat, remind them, you're not disturbing the waters. You're the storm that reveals who forgot how to swim. When they accuse you of causing chaos, show your teeth and whisper, "No, darling, I'm just revealing what was already rotting." Your role isn't to comfort the dying lies, but to midwife the raw, screaming truth fighting to be born. So let them call you arsonist. Let them name you troublemaker. Let them clutch their pearls while you dance in the ashes of their illusions. Your time is now. The world needs its sacred pyromaniacs, those willing to torch the prisons masquerading as palaces. And you've been carrying this particular fire since before you took your first breath. So strike the match, beloved. The future is waiting to catch flame. They told you to contain your fire, while the world was begging to be set alight. If your spirit stirred while hearing these truths, it's no accident. Support the unfolding of this sacred work through my Patreon, and help keep the torch of divine remembrance burning for mystics and chosen ones across the realms. P.S. The revolution won't be televised. It'll be mirrored. Share this with another uncontainable soul. Your tribe is waiting. Stay lit.